Hello, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota, with a relatively quick and straightforward forecast for our region through the week. I'm sure most of you have heard about the big dome of high pressure that's going to be settling over the top of us, bringing triple-digit heat across areas of the southern portions of our region, in particular across South Dakota, southern Minnesota. We're looking at high temperatures by Tuesday, probably more so Wednesday, reaching those triple-digit numbers. In fact, if we take into account the dew points and the heat index, we're going to be looking at the triple digits already into Monday across the south. Tuesday, it gets even warmer. Obviously, those dew points climb a little bit more. We're looking at possibly those heat indexes reaching 110 degrees Tuesday on into Wednesday. And here's a different look at those upper levels as you see that jet stream moving way to the north, that high pressure right in the middle of the United States, bringing in with it all that heat and that late summertime ickiness that's going to build up into our region in the beginning of the week. Now, we've got a chance for maybe a few storms, particularly across the Arrowhead region around Duluth going into Monday night, as we're kind of fairly close to that jet stream at that point. As we get a little bit later, as we get into, more so Tuesday and a little bit into Wednesday as well, that dome, that jet stream continues to be well to the north. So I think we're really going to have a hard time developing any type of, especially organized activity. We might have a stray thunderstorm here and there that's going to pop up. And this is really going to be true throughout the week, where we might have a storm or two, or maybe three, an isolated two, three storms that develop. But they're going to be very random. It's going to be very hard to predict where and when some of these storms are going to develop. And will they be severe? Maybe, but it might be too warm for anything to develop at all, to where we might not get anything. So just keep that in mind. We might see a few stray storms throughout the week, but saying where exactly and when is going to be the problem. But if we take a look at the precipitation that is forecasted to fall by several of these models, boy, you can really tell where that ridge is, that ring of fire that we call it, where the storms kind of ride the ridge up and over and then back down to the south and east, leaving the center donut hole of just no rain or any activity. But ultimately, as we step through some of these models, you can see again where the activity is. Mostly, if we're going to get anything, it's going to be across the northern reaches of our areas, probably going to have the best chance throughout the week. So how about those high temperatures? Man, for Monday, we're already, again, looking at triple digits across the far south, only in the 70s to maybe some 60s across the north. That heat begins to build on Tuesday. Again, more triple digits across the south. We're now into the 80s and 70s mostly. Maybe some cooler lake winds off the northeastern parts of Minnesota. But Wednesday's probably going to be the hottest day the way it's looking right now. Many areas across the south we're looking into the triple digits. We're looking at 80s to 90s creeping all the way across the remainder of the area. Thursday cools down just a little bit, and then as we get into Friday, there you go, a little bit more so as that jet stream sinks just a little bit further south. We're looking at the 70s to the north, 80s to the south, and then by Saturday, we're looking fairly comfortable everywhere, generally in the 70s to low 80s. Now, with that said, the Climate Prediction Center does have us through the extended outlook with above normal temperature-wise throughout the region. When we take a look at the precip forecast, at least according to the Climate Prediction Center, they've got a little bit of wetness further out to the west. Out in the east, they're predicting more drier type conditions. But ultimately, when we go into beyond next weekend, we can see that dome rebuild in across the central parts of the U.S. We're kind of into a blocking pattern where we've got a low off to the east, a low off to the west, and we continue to have this big death ridge over the top of us. So expect more warmer conditions to return after we get maybe a little bit of a reprieve, perhaps going into next weekend. I think the heat's going to build back in. Now, one other thing to mention, at least in the short term, we can see how that smoke kind of lingers across the area going into tonight and into Monday as well. It begins to scatter out just a little bit as we get later into the day and into the overnight hours, Monday night going into Tuesday. So it looks like Tuesday is going to be a a little bit better when it comes to when we're talking about that smoke in the air. Monday, probably going to be seeing some more of that smoke just hanging around for at least another day. So other than maybe some isolated activity, particularly across the northern reaches of our region, some storms, some maybe could be strong to severe if they're able to develop enough. But ultimately, really, we're looking at just another dry type of week. And the main headline is just going to be the heat. It's going to be hot, especially going into Wednesday before we begin to kind of step back down and cool off towards the back half of the week. All right, everybody. For Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner. Everybody have a good day.